call the meeting to order. Tuesday, October 18th, 2016. Committee meeting. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Burgess. Here. Here. Myers. Here. Chase. Here. Washington House. Here.
Okay. Item number 2, the copy. Actually, in the committee meetings, you don't need a motion, but in the board meetings, then you make that motion. I know that was brought up once before, about a year ago. We did, and I had suggested at that time that there's no practice or procedure in place. As of current, it's just been common practice since, as far as I've been on here, that the CMO trustee runs the meeting in the mayor's absence, and that I suggested at that time that it was something that maybe the board should discuss for the future, and then the ball was dropped and it was never brought up. But just as a reminder, committee meetings, don't need a motion, but if the mayor's not here next week, I look forward to that motion. Okay, item number 2, copy replacement. You guys can step up. Good, Howard. Guys, can you guys can have a seat right here. Make sure that the microphone is on. There'll be a green light. Make sure you bring it close to you, because although it sounds like you can be heard right there, you can't be. Thanks.
Hello,
Hi.
I'm Phil Fassel with Proven Business Systems. This is Mary Del. We're here to tell you about the proposal we have for you on the table.
Can't hear.
Sorry, okay, is that better?
Yes.
Okay. So, we brought together a proposal to help you actually save some money by combining copiers. You have a couple of small ones that need to be replaced in the police department and in the Village Hall. Village Hall is going to be a larger copy that we discussed. You currently have an older one that's on lease. It's just a black and white. I think it's been giving you some issues. The cost of it is just for a black and white copier, where the new one that we proposed is a color copier. The advantage to that is the new one comes with scanning in color, faxing, stapling, a few other features that you do not have. You currently have multiple printers throughout the City Hall, and printers run substantially more expensive than a copier does. So on a municipal lease government program, you probably get 3 prints out of a copier compared to 1 print on a printer. The color printers allow you to do, much better quality, and other options where you could actually do some banners on them. The ones we proposed are Toshiba copiers, small Canon copiers that are multi-function for the police and other placement, and City Hall would be a color copy. So I know you do some outsourcing now for advertising. But Toshiba actually allows you to do a 12 by 48 banner. This was actually created on Microsoft Publisher. I actually did it, it's that easy. Okay, this was just copy and pasted. And once it's fed through the machine, it prints it out in about 10 seconds. It's completely dry and comes out. This is waterproof, tear-proof, and UV-proof. So some of the advantages, the payment is similar to where you were. We have a little bit of a buyout, and I'll explain all that as we go through the book too. But this allows you, and I'd like to pass this along, this is actually something that could be posted outside. So a lot of the different schools in the area that we have, and municipalities, and any fundraisers that you have, you can hang this in a window. You could pour a glass of water on that and let it set for 24 hours, 48 hours, and wipe it off, and it looks exactly the same. That actually costs $6 a sheet, and it's only 6 color clicks, so you're looking at about 36 cents to print that. If you try to outsource that to a Kinko's or somewhere like that, it's probably $40 to $50. So any functions that you have where you want to, print something up, you're actually going to save money by being able to do something like that in-house. And when I tell you it's as easy as what you currently print on the copier, you just create it. You send it to the copier and you feed it in. It is actually that easy. And it's something Mary and I have helped other schools and city halls with in order to do it. So did everybody get one of these books? So, as we page through, and if you want a little bit about P.L.A.N is the largest Toshiba dealer in the state of Illinois and one of the largest in the Midwest. We have awards nationally, and the first page you open to is the Pros Elite 100. That is an award that is an independent company that interviewed every copier company in the area. We received this award. We're one of the top 100 best service companies in the country, and the only one in the state of Illinois that's going to get it. So we have a lot of support behind what we offer. On page 2, you'll see that we made Chicago Crane's 50 fastest growing companies. Now, 32 fastest growing was our second year. The first year was 41st, and now we just received it for the third time. If you notice though, 5-year growth was 385%. So what we've done as a company is we have not tried to be a copier company. We've actually become an IT company. We offer complete managed network services. We have Laserfiche and electronic document storage and content management. We have multiple other softwares that we serve. So we are more of an IT company that supports copiers. So we have the people behind the scene. We have 33 IT people alone that work in the company that actually support all the copiers. I'm a Chicago Heights. I was born and raised in Chicago Heights. I have most of the schools and municipalities in the area. I mean, I have, Bloom, Marion, Chicago Heights School District, Crete-Monee, Stager, Village of South Heights. I'm working with a lot of other municipalities right now. HF, Flossmoor, Homewood School District. So I have a lot of accounts in the area. So, it's just saying a lot about P.L.A.N, who we are. I have multiple references I could give you, and not afraid of any of them. Everybody around here knows of P.L.A.N and myself. The third page is really about, we've been in business for 35 to 40 years. The owners, this is his third company that he's, started. P.L.A.N's been around 14 years. And to grow at 385%, we're doing something right. So it just says a lot. When you get to this page, this is actually the copier, and forgive me, I put the wrong brochure in. This is for a 35-page a minute. I actually proposed the 50. But when you look at the machine, it's exactly the same picture. It's exactly the same machine. The only difference is the 50-page a minute's faster with a little bigger engine. We do that for a reason. The bigger the engine, the more the volume it can handle, the less the chances of it breaking down. This is the machine, as you look at it, that can do the banners, that can be copy, that can print, that can scan. Everything about it is secure. Toshiba's #1 in the industry as far as data overwrite, so it erases everything that's printed, scanned, and copied, and it follows the security issues that the United States Secretary of Defense wants. So they wrote the rules for that. So, Toshiba's a big name out there. A lot of confidence in the machine and not at all worried. I actually proposed 2 different machines here. And the only difference is, when you get to the pricing page, there's a Toshiba 5005, that's a 50-page a minute. This is the brand new machine that came out about 2 months ago. On the next page is a 5055. That's last year's model. We just have some of them left, a little better price, and the machine's completely loaded up. I don't have a problem selling you either one. I highly recommend either one. I have the older version at all the schools in Chicago Heights, at Stager, I'll give you another list if you want to see that. So the difference is about $30 a month in payment. So I try to be very transparent, and I try to spell everything out and give you all the options, so that as you look at the machine, the first one is the price of the machine, and it comes standard with, the automatic dock feeder, and it's a color print. You could print from a phone. You could print from an iPad. It's a color scan system. It has a large capacity drawer for higher volume. You could scan to a thumb drive or print from a thumb drive. You could do the banners, and it includes a stapler. If you wanted a 3-hole punch or a fax, I showed that as an option. On last year's model, it's a package. It all comes together. The only option that's available on the bottom one, or on the second one, I should say, on the bottom of the page, is a software by Toshiba called Rewrite. Rewrite allows you to scan the document and change it so that when you receive it, it's either a Word document, an Excel, or a PowerPoint. Completely editable. So that's a software exclusive by Toshiba. There's only a couple of products out there that have it. Canon is one, and we sell Canon and Toshiba. So it's, you know, really leading edge technology. You know, the pricing is on the next page, and it shows a click price. What we try to do different than a lot of people that are out there is we don't like to include 20,000 pages a month in your contract. Other people do that, and it is good if you exceed that. If you don't exceed it, then let's say you only do 15,000 and they include 20,000 in your contract, well, you don't get that money back. There's no way to get it back because it's included in the lease. So what we do is we do a click charge. You pay for what you use, just like gas in a car. Whatever you drive, you pay for the gas. Instead of me saying, I'm going to give you 3 tanks of gas and you really only need 2, is the bottom line. So this is what I do for all of the schools in the area, all of the municipalities. I'm a firm believer in paying for what you use instead of including something that you're not going to achieve. Then there's a couple of small machines that we proposed, and they're little colors that are more of a print-based unit that you can scan, copy, print, and fax. It's all built in. Comes with one drawer. These little products are amazing. I have many of them at a lot of the schools in the area, and it's really what the police department and they both need. There's an option for a black and white, or a color. It has 2 meters, so you don't have to worry about people going crazy and printing pictures that they shouldn't be, because it has 2 separate meters. And if it gets to the point where color gets out of control, we don't want to see that happen either. So we can put codes on the machine. We could give every person a code. We could have it so the minute somebody touches the color button, it'll ask for a code. If they don't have a code, they can't work in color. Same way from their computer. These also can print from your phone, from an iPad, from your computer. They scan and do everything the same that the big machine does. And the reason, you know, Toshiba makes smaller products like this, we chose the Canon because it's really a better product in this market for the smaller machines. Okay, and then as you flip through it, you'll see some of the color that comes out of it, Toshiba. This is what would come out of the new machine that you have. And that's where I said, we don't want people to start printing their family pictures because the quality is pretty darn good. So we want to be able to control it. If you were to take your current costs, and now with the buyout included, we're not very much more to give you brand new technology. When you bought your current Canon machine, it was actually a used machine at the time. And what we're giving you right now is brand new state-of-the-art technology compared to what you have, which is about a 5 or 6 year old machine. Okay? Any questions?
Trustees?
Sir?
I was looking on your, I guess, spec sheet,
Yes.
and the maintenance costs. I didn't see that on there.
The maintenance cost is on the back behind the pricing, and it shows Toshiba or Canon. I originally proposed the Canon black and white to you, and a color machine, and I actually, sir, it's right here, it's after the Toshiba pricing. So when you get to this where it's Toshiba, it's the next page after. It's one, there you go. So, you know, it spells it out that the copies are going to be .006, which is a little over a half a penny for black and white. That includes all parts and labor, unlimited service calls, and you know, anything that you would need, including the toner. The color is billed at 0.55, so a little over a nickel. If you compare it to your current pricing that you're paying now, they included so many copies in your contract, and they're at 0.084. This is 0.006. And the color, or the police and the other two machines, they're at 2 cents. And the small one that I'm proposing to replace that is at a penny and a half. And they're at 12 cents, and I'm at 8 cents. So there's a definite savings for every click that anybody does in the municipality here, whether the police or here at City Hall. There's definitely a savings.
Okay, so you're saying that whatever goes through the machine is basically, color is basically a nickel,
Yes, sir.
and black and white is basically a half a penny.
Yes, sir.
And even if it gets jammed or,
Well, if it gets jammed and it doesn't make it all the way through the fuse, or it doesn't count as a click, I think what you're going to find different is this is not going to jam as often because it is a lot newer, and you know, it's a whole different product.
and it does work off of our internet, correct?
Absolutely, it'll work off of everything, and that's where we're so proud of who we are, because we have so many IT guys in the back that support this. They come out, when we set this machine up, we will make sure we work with your IT people. We'll get it set up on the server. We'll make sure everybody can print and scan, and whether by folder or email, we'll make sure every computer in every office can print to the copier. I mean, that's what we do for every school and every municipality now.
If our internet is down, can I still print?
Well, the internet should have nothing to do with it as long as your network is up and it's working through your server.
I'm sorry, my network is down.
Well, if
Can I still just copy off of it?
oh, you can copy, yes.
You have smartphones, can you use your smartphone off of it?
If your Wi-Fi is working, you can use your smartphone and be able to print from your smartphone to the copy.
But if the Wi-Fi is not working, because some phones you don't need Wi-Fi, you just use your own phone. Can you do that work?
Well, the phone kind of works through the network, so the network has to be working in order for it to work. It's not just this machine, it would be any machine in the world that would have
We're
it.
not going to be paying for the cartridge, we're going to be paying per sheet.
You're going to, correct. The toner comes with that price of 006 and the nickel. So that includes all parts and labor, unlimited service calls, and all the toner. The only
Insurance.
Well, you don't really have to insure it, other than we need a certificate of insurance to present to the leasing company that just says, should something happen to this building, we would be covered. There's really no cost for that certificate of insurance. It's just something we give the lease company to say, you have insurance.
I'm just wondering, I mean, it's something, I'm not saying that it would, but if the machine itself breaks down, they did not determine that it was a fault, I mean, not the machine fault, personnel.
You know, we're going to stand behind everything like that. I mean, power surges, we put a power surge protector on. Should your electric go down and it surges the machine, you know, we can actually plug into them. We buy the best in the industry so that we can tell if something went wrong. We can pretty much tell what caused the problem. If there's any kind of a flaw that happens and we need to go to the insurance, naturally it would be covered under, you know, just like these chairs, or if somebody fell in here, it kind of falls under the same policy.
My last question, I think it's upgraded. After 3 years of releasing it, do we get another one that signs the contract, or will we get a different copier, a newer one that's just like computers, that's so many years they go out there?
So what we're doing is a 5-year lease, kind of what you have now,
Okay.
and it's a fair market value, which means you return it at the end of the lease. Technology changes so fast that you really don't want to keep it longer than 5 years. So, absolutely. You know, you don't want to try to buy it out in 3 years. I'm giving you a machine that you can definitely grow with volume-wise. That's not going to be an issue. There's really not a whole lot more anywhere in the industry than what this machine has. It's if you decided to downsize, this machine's gonna be plenty for what you're gonna do to upsize. Is it gonna be too big for you in the future would probably be your biggest concern.
I was just wondering, in 5 years, trading value, how much does it depreciate after year 2?
You know, copiers are different than cars. They really do not have a resale value at the end. This product, and it works with everybody in the industry, we can do it 2 different ways if you want it. There is a $1 buyout, which means you could own the machine at the end of the 5 years. The advantage to that is our service is so good that at the end of 5 years, that machine's gonna keep working. We would be able to keep servicing it, you wouldn't have a payment, you would still have the machine, which allows you to also pass it on to another department if you wanted to do that. You know, some of the schools are doing that now. P.L.A.N, I sold them 50 machines 5.5, 6 years ago, and we're still servicing them and they're still working, so they didn't have to come up with another payment to replace them. They're able to use them. Should some of them be replaced? Absolutely. Some of them, you know, they're kind of like a car. I gave you a car that's going to go 120 miles an hour, and I know you guys are going to drive about 60. If you buy a car that goes 120 and you drive it 120 every day, you're going to have problems with it. I gave you growth with this machine, and that's the only time we have issues at the end of a lease. So if you wanted to look at another lease payment, it would probably be a little bit more money to have a $1 buyout so you could own it at the end. And then you could, you know, keep it, use it, move it to a different department, sell it, do whatever you want. This is actually a return to upgrade to new technology in 60 months.
Okay, my last question, the prices, I looked at the same thing, $7,000 each, is that what they are?
Oh, sir, that's the buyout. That's what you owe on your current equipment now.
Oh,
So we're going to give you a check for that amount of money to continue to make the payments on your current equipment. When we come in, we bring the new equipment in, we wrap the old equipment up in plastic, we bring it back to our warehouse facility. We're based out of Tinley Park, our corporate is. And I would invite any of you to come and see it. It's quite an impressive, it's about 35,000 square feet. We probably have 500 or 600 copiers wrapped in plastic, ready to go back to the lease company at the end of the lease. We insure it, we make sure it's, you know, in working condition when we pick it up, and when we return it to the lease company at the end of the lease, it's working too.
Trustee Washington? Can you use your microphone, please? Yeah.
Nevertheless, I see that we're releasing now.
What?
Approximately how many machines are we talking about?
Well, you're actually talking about one color machine for the main facility.
For the go top?
Yes. And we'll get rid of the old black and white that you have. And then we have two, we have a black and white and a color in the police department. And records.
So it's two different machines.
Yes.
One here.
Yes.
None in no other building.
No.
Fire department, not public works.
No. Those leases are not closed.
We can't hear you, but just the microphone is not working, and I'm not a mechanic, I can't fix it. Speak up.
We're working at it. We're getting batteries for the microphone. If we could just calm down, everybody, please. We have some questions to be asked. Trustee Washington, if you could try your best while the village clerk is please getting new batteries, so please elevate your voice or wait for the questions for the microphone so then we can continue since residents are not able to hear.
All microphone check for the meeting, just, they all worked for the meeting.
Testing, thank you. And Ms. Cass, I have a cold, that's why I can't talk any louder. So you're talking about 3 copying machines?
Yes.
2 in the police department, 1 that's color and 1 that's black and white, and then the 1 machine that's here at the village hall. So we're talking about replacing all 3 of those?
Yes.
Okay, and the 1 machine, I'm still a patient on this one, but the one that's for 60 months at $278.70 a month, the Toshiba 5005AC. Is that
Yes.
that's the big one that would go into Village Hall?
Yes, ma'am.
And that one makes color copies
And the banners.
and the banners, and it also staples and fax.
Yes, we could add the fax to that one. You can add a 3-hole punch to that. The next machine is exactly the same machine. They're both 50 pages a minute. It's, you know, last year's model. It's 6 months old, brand new. But that one includes the stapling and the large tray and the fax. So it actually comes with a few more features than what this one does that you have to add to.
And it does the banner printing too, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it does.
That's the only difference. And
It is the only difference. I believe that I didn't add a 3-hole fax option on the other one.
So that one holds 2,000 sheets per tray. It doesn't say how many the first one holds.
The first
That
one-
sheet drawer. 2 550 sheet drawers. Okay. So all we have to do is provide the paper. We don't have to provide the toner or the cartridges.
Correct.
And you do all the paper.
Yes, ma'am.
Monthly price.
No, the monthly price is just the lease. The service price clicks.
I think it's, I think it's a,
It's red, so I can't do nothing about it. And then the two, I'll try to talk to Alex. The two for the police station, one that we color copy, we'll do the toner and the.
Yes.
And, any cartridges for that one either?
That one, the cartridges are included also. That's all included in the maintenance contract.
Thank you, clerk. Okay, so if we agree as a board to switch to these machines, and I know that I have heard the personnel talk about the machine in the front, it not only does it jam a lot, it skips, it makes lines, they have to call maintenance out a lot. The machine is outdated, but it works. But I'm just saying, if we would decide to do this, you would take those 3 copiers and replace them with these, the 2, like desktop, that still do all of the jet.
Yes.
And all of that from the phone for the police station, and replace this one here. We would just start off with the monthly payments.
Yes.
And for the big one in the Village Hall, that's the one that would be $240. I'm looking at the,
Yes.
and the smaller ones would be 65 each, and
Yes.
$240.
Yes. Correct.
All right, thank you.
Trustee Myers?
Thank you. Let's say for some odd reason our machine goes down and can't repair it here. Would you send us or get us another one that is exactly the same, or will be a
No.
no?
Absolutely. What we do is we guarantee that if we cannot fix the machine, we will bring out the loaner the same day. Which, you know, if something happens at 3 o'clock, it's going to be a little hard. We'll have it out the next day. But our service is that good where we usually have it up and running.
Okay.
We guarantee within 4 hours service. So when you call us, we're here. The difference is, sorry, but just to elaborate, on this page, you'll see these little trucks that we have. Those have $12,000 to $14,000 worth of parts in each one. That was the commitment we made in order to get, you know, this award, to tell them we're committed to do what we need to do. And when they come out, not only do we know what parts they have on the truck when they're dispatched, but we know their GPS. We know which route they took, how long it took them to get here, when they shut the truck off, when they restarted it. So we're watching and we know everything about the techs. When they use one of those parts, they call us the minute they leave this facility and they say, we just used this part. So when they go in that later that day or the next morning, they replenish that part.
But it will be, the machine will be almost exactly the one that we sent in.
If it needs to be dropped off, yes. We usually bring exactly the same kind of machine. It might be a little slower and it might be a little faster, but it would be the same machine.
And it does have the capability of program individual users on it.
Absolutely. Very easy to do, and we would be able to teach everybody how to input their own names for email. We can set it up to scan to desktops. It would actually scan to a folder on their desk. But in order to input that information, it's extremely easy to do, whether from your desk or from the machine.
Thank you.
Any other questions, trustee Saints? Oh,
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem. I just want to say a comment about this banner. I really like this because in the village we do a lot of advertisement for different events that we have, and instead of wasting paper, did you know that? I really like this banner. I don't know if the audience got a chance to see the banners or not, but like a banner like this, you could put this in a store, and if you have like 3 months of events coming up, you could put like in October, I'll just use Parks and Recs. You could put trunk or treat, November, blah, 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 Easter egg hunt. You could put multiple flyers on this banner and ask the local businesses, like that's an option to put it in their store. It will cut. Can you all see it up on that side too? It's so colorful and clear. And that one banner you say would cost like
About $6.40.
and to have that posted all the time, instead of running off flyers and flyers and flyers, I think that would be a great feature. I just wanted to make that comment.
And you can also, right, so
Wow.
this paper comes in letter size and 11 by 17.
And they even put up postings in the village hall of different things coming up to let the residents know, instead of like the alert, we do e-blast alert. I'm just saying relevant to what we do now. We have all these pieces of paper trying to get residents to take the information. Sometimes if they stand and read all those colors, draw people attention to it for $6. That's a great cost saving initiative in spite of making 200, 300 to take to the library, take to the store, take
Yes.
to Sharks for events coming up. I just wanted to make
You know,
a
in
comment
fact, that
from
we do
my
11 by 17 is only $3 a sheet, and letters $1.50. And it's waterproof, tear-proof, and UV.
Trustee Tate?
Administrator Fairman, how much are we paying for the current machine? Well, I didn't know we were going to discuss this.
Actually, you're about $400 a month for the big machine and the two small
Trustee
ones.
Washington, please, thank you.
I'm looking at the 5005 AC as an example. And the lease fee is $278.70.
Yes.
The next line has the $7,000 buyout, 144 at 20.
Yes.
So should I combine both of
Yes.
those for the monthly
Yes.
payment? Which is
Yeah, what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna write you a check for $7,000, which is about the amount of payments that you have left. So you will stream the payments. You will write a check. We're giving you the money to write the check for the rest of the payments. This is different than a bank. And why lease companies are so obstinate, we still can't figure it out. You wanna buy your car out, trade it in, you know, you can call the bank and say, what do I owe on it? Lease companies don't work that way. You know, the minute a copier is funded by a lease company, they write us the check. We're done with it. Technically, the lease company owns that machine. They want you to go into default. They want you to miss a payment. They want you to keep it and not realize that the lease is up, and they want you to keep paying on it. I have another municipality that, you know, they didn't want to do anything, and now they're realizing that they gave the lease company money for no reason. It's just a trick that the lease company does. They're not as honest as a bank. Why? I don't know, but they're not. So.
I actually have a couple of questions. You spoke in your presentation about the codes. Currently on our system, we have a code that, and you were talking about for the smaller machines, but I'm
Oh.
assuming the bigger machine will do that too?
Absolutely.
Okay, and then on that same purchase information,
Yes.
for the rewrite, that would be extra of $9.90 a month, right? No
Yes.
matter which one we went with?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Does anybody else have any other questions? Okay, and I assume your contact information is in here.
It is.
So I would just recommend that the trustees review the packet and determine which way you want to go. They've given us two options here, and then I don't know if this is something that the mayor is going to want on the next agenda or whatever, but if you could just think about which direction you'd want to go, and then let the village administrator know which machine you prefer, so then we can know how to proceed.
Yeah, I mean, again, they're identical machines. Everything about them is the same, with the exception of the older version is a white model with blue trim, the new one's black. There's really no difference as far as speed, capabilities, everything's the same. The old one, you know, it's a little better deal because it's like buying, you know, last year's car. It's the same.
Yeah, and you've got the 3-hole punch and the staple. Is it-
3-hole punch is not included, but the fax is included
Okay.
and the large capacity drawer is
Okay.
included.
Trustee Washington?
Yes, but does it, of course, I'm sure it does. Is it duplex?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes,
Duplex, staple, fax, color.
yes. And if you notice the color printed in the back, this is off of.
Any more questions? Trustee Meyer?
Could you give us the amount of money we have paid out in the last couple of years on our copier we have now? And, just, yeah, maintenance costs we have to keep and so forth.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Item number 3, the review of the resident handbook. Trustee Tates?
I don't know what the mayor intended for that. So, what you gonna do with it? I did not prepare for the petition. I should let you know what the petition
Okay.
was.
Well, I know last week at the board meeting, the item was tabled because a resident suggested an item and I had asked for a copy of it. I do have a copy of it now. And there were a couple different things that I thought should be added to it. So I don't know if you want this to be tabled and maybe brought back at another committee meeting to go over again, or, okay. Nobody else has a problem with putting this off for another 2 weeks? Let's just, for the next committee meeting? Okay.
Let me say one thing, and everyone should understand, when the housing committee took on the task of correcting some of the errors that we found in the resident handbook, it was not our intention to revise the complete book. We were simply correcting the errors that we found. So the resident a couple weeks ago, whenever we talked about the sirens, that would be a revision of the book because sirens was never a part of what we started with. So that was never our intention. It was to revise this book. We were just trying to put current things in there. For instance, there was one item that says you pay your water bill at the community center. Well, we knew that was wrong. So those are the kind of things that we addressed and took out. The item about public works and the water system out here, we knew that had to be corrected. So that's what we did. So if people are expecting a revision, that is going to put current information in there so residents will know what they're supposed to do, whatever the situation was that we covered.
So since you are in the process of editing it then to correct the errors, will you be doing any additions of new things? Like you said, the sirens were not in there before. Will you be adding something like that? Okay, so your plan is, because I guess I just figure if you're looking at a document and trying to update it, then you would add anything that would be new. So as far as the suggestion I made last week then, for the, if you look in the old resident handbook, it talks about the blue bags for recycling. We no longer have the blue bags. So talking about Republic's service and the new recycling totes, I guess I'm wondering, would that be a revision for you or would that be an edit?
There was an edit, the document, the resident manual itself, and that was never our intention to do that because they didn't bring in all the department heads and find out what's going on in their current department. You know, the fire department has a new fire engine and they're doing strange things with that. In addition, we know that we have the CalCom situation. So we did not go through the village as a whole and try to pull out each entity's nuances to make it a more comprehensive book. We simply want the residents who move in now to get the most current information that was available instead of getting the old one, because when they were going to the front, they were getting the book that we started with. That's what they were getting. So we wanted to make sure they did not get that copy. when we revised it, we wanted that to be approved and get that out immediately to the front counter, and they can give it out to the residents as they move into Sauk Village. Now, if someone wants to take on the task of revising the whole manual, that certainly the housing committee would take a back seat to that and never do that. That's what they want to do.
So then I guess my question again, I think you answered it, but maybe I asked it incorrectly. Will you be taking out the blue bags and putting in the tote bins?
It would be omitted, we would not replace it, no.
You would take out the blue bags but not put in the...
It's no relevant. Blue bags
Right,
are relevant.
okay. But you wouldn't put the relevant information, okay. Okay. I don't know if anybody on the board then has any other suggestions. We can table this, as Trustee Tate said, and the mayor's not here, as far as why it's on the agenda. I personally think that maybe some of the information that needs to be updated should be done. I don't know if anybody wants to take on that task. As Trustee Tate just stated, their goal is to omit the old information so the resident handbook can get out as soon as possible. I don't know if there's another trustee or committee, and we don't need an answer right now, maybe something to think about, if anybody else would like to take on that task of putting in the relevant information once this version is approved or anything like that. So just, I don't know, you can go through the village administrator, if any trustee here would like to do that, then we can go through the village administrator. But then I'll let the mayor know that this was tabled for right now and to bring it out in 2 weeks. Trustee Washington House?
So Trustee Tate, so if we do find something that we think that we want to add or want to suggest or want to run by your committee, you want us to give it to you? Make notes on this and put it in your mailbox?
Because something relevant to what we sent out to all the trustees, clerk, the mayor, and everybody else. If it's something that's relevant to that, which we sent out before, yes. And Trustee Williams,
Thank you.
had asked, she said her handwriting was not legible, so she wanted to know if she could do otherwise. So if it's relevant to what we sent you, and that's like I highlighted your copy sitting
Right.
at the table. If it's relevant to that, yes, you can
Okay.
give me a note and we'll insert that. One thing that you had mentioned, which we didn't do, is if you felt, and that Trustee Myers asked a question, you thought it was relevant to change the holidays and put it in chronological order. And we did not do that because we had them listed in alphabetical order from the last resident head. So we left them in alphabetical order. We didn't do anything like that. So it's that type of thing that if you're going to have someone that's going to volunteer to do that.
Okay. Okay.
I just want to ask the clerk, do you know if we have more than 8 churches in Sauk Village, just right off the head? You know, I was just thinking it on the
But I'll be happy to.
I think we have more than 8. I saw a couple of churches at the city, but I can talk to them about that.
It'll be for 2 weeks. We'll just table it. Okay, then we have item number 4, executive session for personnel. I need a motion to adjourn into executive session for personnel.
I'm already on the back.
From my understanding, this was for the item that Trustee Tate's asked about, which we would need the police chief for, and he's here tonight to answer this question.
We need the mayor.
Oh, even better. Okay, so motion fails. Item number 5, public comment. All questions and comments must be directed to the chair. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to speak on comment on topic of their choice. Each speaker will be allowed 1 opportunity to speak.
On behalf of Sauk Village Citizens Public Awareness. This has been a question that we have been asking since Mayor Hanks' administration took over back in whatever it was. The question is, what is the plan for an infrastructure improvement? Since we just had a water main break on 220 Orion, and nobody seems to know what we're paying for. So we'd like to know, what are you guys
can we not, can we not, I'm sorry, audience members? Audience members? If we could please address the chair when it's your turn. If you have a question, please stand up. If you're at the podium, please address the chair. We don't need to go back and forth. If nobody could hear her questions, her question was, what is the plan for the infrastructure improvements? And why can, I'm assuming you mean all residents, why can all residents not get a copy of the aging report? Those were her only two questions.
Well, yeah, but it wasn't available to us. You know, we've been asking for them for the last 2 or 3 months, and we've been asking the same question in the administration about this infrastructure improvement, and yet we get no answers, but we paying for it, so we'd like to know what's going on. Why we can't get those 2 items, 5 items.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. As far as the copy of the aging report, I know I spoke with you before the meeting. You did ask me at the end of last meeting to address that. I have addressed it again. Every time you ask me, I do send off an email. I am assuming that it is a public record document and that you could FOIA it and get a copy of it. Your question was, if you needed, last week your question to me was, did you really need to FOIA it or could I give you a copy? I asked that question, I don't have an answer. So I don't want to give a document that has to be FOIA'd if it has to be FOIA'd. But again, I would assume anybody who would want a copy of it should go through the process of FOIAing it until I can answer that question for you. If I could be released to give you a copy, I'd make you a copy right now. All the board should have gotten an email with the aging report. I know it went out last week. Okay. Then I will go through my email and see about that right now, but just for your information, I told you I sent it. I do continue to keep asking, and I will send another email out tonight.
So why is Mohan still here?
Well, we're not going to go back and forth. The time is
No, that
up.
was part of my question. I asked you why was he here and why he was allowed to do his own thing. That was part of his question.
Well, Mohan's only job is not just the aging report and providing it to residents. He does do a little bit more, so that's one of the reasons why he's still here. But that's not a question. That's an item of personnel. That's an executive session topic, so we're not going to talk about personnel out here. Again, I will attempt to get your answer. If you can get the report, that's all I can do. That's all I can do.
I can resend an email right now. It was actually sent on October 14th to 8/16 to all trustees and village clerk, but I'll resend it to all.
Thank you.
What did he say? I didn't hear her.
Okay, trustee, Village Clerk Williams stated that the email was in fact sent to all the trustees on some date, October something, I think she said. And trustee Tate did state that his email is down, so he was not able to receive that. So, like I thought I received the email that all the trustees got it. Everybody should have gotten it in their email. If there's a problem. Yes. Okay.
So I can get what I need. She said to all trustees, right?
Yeah.
So we got a copy too, right?
There are certain documents that the trustees get that are not privy to the audience. I'm not going to release my personal copy unless I'm told that I can. But again, it is a FOIA-able thing. I would assume. I think you should FOIA it if you really want it. Okay. Well, then if they didn't give it to you, I'm not sure why. But then I'm definitely not going to give a copy of it if there's a reason why. So I asked the finance director, I asked the village administrator. That's all I can do. Ma'am, you can step up.
Hi, my name is Robin Edwards. I'm a resident here in Sauk Village. I had a concern. Well, first I had a question about last week. I think the chief of police mentioned that they're having some type of meeting for the residents to be able to discuss basically how do you respond when police officers stop you. I wanted to know what date was that? Do you remember?
You can ask all your questions, and then we'll answer them. And the police chief is in the back, so he can answer your questions.
Okay, and then the other question is, I have a concern about I was stopped. I don't know what the reason was. My son called me while I was at the grocery store. He's at McDonald's. We were parked there, and I was stopped. They came out like some predators, and I was stopped. And when he approached the car with so much anger and frustration. And he also allowed my child, which is 17 years old, to provoke him to even more anger. So I understand that they wanted to address how we respond when they stop us, but I wanted to know, are they gonna address how the police officers also approach us?
Are those all your questions?
That is.
Okay. I'm gonna ask the chief to say when the meeting is, but then if you could go step outside with the police chief and kind of explain more of the situation. I don't want your private business all in the meeting, and speak with him on a one-to-one level. And it would really help, just as a suggestion, if you remember the cop's name or the date and the time, and he can look that up. But I want to make sure that you guys have that conversation. But chief, if you could say the meeting date and time.
October 27th at 4 o'clock at the police station.
Okay, thank you. And then if you could follow up with him.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sure everybody that's been here more than 20 years know what I'm about to say. Back in September 1994, I moved out here. And back then, the law was the law. Now, I don't know what happened, but it seemed like the police not doing their job. Now, when I first moved out here, there was tickets given to anybody who was jaywalking. We got kids walking in the middle of the street. This is all up and down my block. People blowing their horns out. They still refuse to move. We got a lot of sidewalk out here, but yet they rather walk in the street. Now, I understand if it's snowing, snow on the ground and nobody refuses to shovel it, they walk in the street. But it's not winter time yet, but yet they still walk. Then the thing about curfew. Now, I think curfew is still 9 o'clock, right? School night, 10:30. Okay, whatever happened to all these laws? Why is nobody enforcing it? And then another complaint is our street lights. Now, I know we had a couple of residents who stayed in Deer Creek complain about their lights. I have the same problem with mine, and I stay on the corner. That light is kind of blurry. The way we can raise it a little bit. And we are.
Okay. I don't know if maybe you want to have I know he's outside right now, the chief is outside talking. I'm not sure if you want to address your concerns with him, but I can send him an email because I don't think that he might not have heard your conversation. I'll send him an email. But I do know that the mayor stated last week that part of the problems, and I don't know if this is what's affecting your light, is that the new bulbs that we have are a lower light, they're energy saving. So we did that to not only save energy, but it was also a cost savings. So, but I will let him know that you did make that remark.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Judy Castier. Approximately 50 years ago, or just over 50, I started volunteering in this village, and I'm still volunteering. I worked under the auspices of trustee Ray Gavin and was second in command for the inoculation clinic. I did that for over 20 years. I have 3 sons, but I was a Girl Scout leader for many years. Volunteers work together and try to get a job done. And it is unbelievable to me that under this administration, for the first time in all the years, volunteers are getting paid for their gas. When we worked as volunteers in groups and had things that had to get done, if somebody was having a hard time, another volunteer would say, no problem, I'll pick you up and then I'll drop you off when it's done. The taxpayers weren't required to pay for somebody else's gas. And how do we know all of this is for gas? And why we're talking about machines, copy machines, and making them better and everything else. Why would a resident make copies and charge the village. It doesn't make sense. And it makes people wonder what's going on. What is the copying for? What was it done for? Was it campaign stuff? We don't want to pay for that. We're paying for a copy machine in this village that should be doing the work that anybody requires for their committee. Volunteers are precious people, and they're doing it for a reason. And I don't think it's fair to ask taxpayers to pay volunteers. You're opening a door that you don't want to open, and yet you've got trustees sitting there that nodded their heads and agreed to make these payments. It's wrong. If you can't pay all the volunteers, don't pay any of them. And I think it's wrong. And I think answers need to be given as to why this kind of thing happens. Why it gets approved. That's it.
Trustee Washington House.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem. I want to address this issue. First of all, I want to say on behalf of Neighborhood Watch, and I have a cold, so my voice comes in and out. Nevertheless, on behalf of Neighborhood Watch, it was put on Facebook that we put receipts for gas, for honey buns, for pizza, for chewing gum or whatever, to be reimbursed for. I have been in education over 30 years. I have been volunteering in church over 45 years for organizations from choirs to various organizations, making albums, whatever. Whenever you have a committee that have a zero balance and you are doing a program, especially if you're a not-for-profit organization and you're not taking money from any particular organization that I have in the past dealt with, if you are raising money, you can delegate money within your committee how you want to delegate money within your committee. And I want to talk about how bullies take good things and turn them around and make them to be bad things. Let's talk about Neighborhood Watch, because that's my committee and I can talk about that. I think they said that we spent like $200 in gas. How many tanks of situation that some of my volunteers are faced with? They don't even care about the 500 book bags and all the supplies that these families were able to receive as a resource. And but you expect that from people that's doing absolutely nothing. When you are doing nothing, it's easy to sit back and critique somebody that's at least trying to do something. When you have a mayor that tells you to your face, I'm giving you zero for your budget. So whatever you want to do, go fundraise, come up with it, make it happen. My committee as a whole got together, and that's what we decided to do. I don't need validation from anybody. I don't care what anybody thinks about me allowing people to be reimbursed, whether it's a church organization or so many organizations that I have had with the youth and other programs that I've had to come up with money from ground up. Secondly, when we distributed water here that was mandated, at that time, there was an administration that provided gas cards to volunteers that went throughout this village and took water to people. They only gave gas cards to certain people. There are people that told us, I'm getting paid to take this water around to the seniors. I'm getting paid. You're getting paid. We got seniors coming up here. We all take it all around. And that's just one of many. I could go on and on about volunteers that have been paid from different people from doing different things. I do not apologize for extending a helping hand to people that wanted to get gas or wanted to get something at the store. Get that for your baby. You can get that. Go on, get it. And I have also been on the other end where my books have been audited on my jobs. If somebody gives me a receipt and it has that they went shopping for a baseball game and they bought baseball mitts, baseball bases, they bought bats, they bought a dozen of eggs, they bought 3 packs of chewing gum. As getting that receipt, I would be like, no, no, yes, yes, yes. These are the things we can pay for. And I would reimburse for the things that's applicable that they are qualified for. on my own during the time when I was collecting money for book bags and trying to send out letters for donations, and we was having tag days or whatever we were doing, just trying to make this program happen, from the play, picking up children, having rehearsal every single Saturday in the month of January, in the month of February, in the month of March. Then we had the play in April, running back and forth, picking up kids from rehearsal, taking them back and forth, and just reimbursing, trying to keep receipts here, there, and wherever, you know, and then for people to look at what you're trying to do, bringing the community out, getting families involved, getting them to come out and work together to do something to change the persona of the negativity of the village around. You have a small nucleus of people that want to take something good that you're just trying to do and just make it look like it's something bad and you're trying to do something devious, and still, that's the perception of the person that's writing and the perception of the person that's reading. But in conclusion, I want to say the people that I've talked to, I have got nothing but accolades for me trying to do something great with Neighborhood Watch. I did not steal any money. I'm never going to steal any money. You're never going to catch me doing nothing wrong. The videos and all the stuff you make, you just give me more votes. Thank you. Please keep it up, because I'm using that video for my campaign.
First of all, there should be no campaign talk. This is a public board.
That's what you were doing.
There should be no campaign discussion because this is a public board meeting. We cannot be campaigning. No one can campaign in the rotunda. That's the first thing. Secondly, if we could all just respect each other a little bit more while anybody's talking. We don't need to talk around in the background. Thank you very much. No other questions? Great. Okay. Item number 6, miscellaneous comments from the Board of Trustees. Trustee Bird.
Thank you. Okay. First of all, I'd just like to announce tomorrow we're going to have the pamphlets went out in the schools today, and I have some here if anyone would like one. But what it is going to be Sauk Village Family host a youth rally for life. That'll be here tomorrow in lieu of the town hall meeting. The youth in the village are going to conduct this meeting. It'll be here at 7 p.m. right here in the Sauk Village Rotunda. And one of the topics is we need to plan for our future, and the conversation must begin. This is geared toward the 8th grade on up to young adulthood. And if you have those people in your family, those children, please let them come out. Please let them be involved in this. This is something that we need to start ASAP. So tomorrow will be the kickoff for that. And then again, the next thing would be the Veterans Day that I've been talking about. That's going to still be 11/11 at 11 a.m. So this will be November 11th at 11 a.m. here at the Village Hall. All veterans are welcome, and then there will be a reception afterwards. So this will be the 3rd annual Veterans Day celebration, and all vets are invited. And that's all that I have. Yes, sir.
Is that the youth meeting, a public meeting, or everybody can?
Youth meeting is for the youth, all the youth in the village.
Yeah, but can anybody come? Is it open to the public?
Well, it's open to anyone. Okay, but it's going to be for the youth mainly. And I do want to, Miss, is our police chief?
He's out.
Chief, tomorrow I'm going to have a youth, basically, conversation. And a lot of these youth that come, I know the school district frowns on taking pictures and things because they have to have consent. Some of the parents may not want their child on camera or whatever. So I'm hoping, I don't need the police here tomorrow, but I'm hoping that doesn't happen, because I don't want to be held liable. I don't want the village to be held liable that a child is on camera and the parents didn't give them the proper consent. So as I stated, I'm going to try to stop that, but if it doesn't happen and someone wants to take pictures or cameras or whatever, I will be calling and letting them know, because I'm not asking for anybody to sign anything, but I'm just hoping that we as adults will let the kids do this and it'll be done with the children only, and hopefully we don't have to intervene. I just wanted to inform you, that's all.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Tate? I'm sorry. you were done. Okay.
Last week we had our IGRC partnership meeting, and I already have received some complaints about what we're doing in IGRC, and comments that I made, and I want to let this board know the truth of what I said during that meeting, so that all the stuff that you've heard that I allegedly said, I'm telling you right now exactly what I said. I was asked if we had approved the IGRC proposal, which I had submitted, which had like 5 or 6 items on it. And I indicated that we had not approved that document. And number 2, that the board showed a lack of interest. Those are my exact words. The board showed a lack of interest. Because don't forget, we've had this document for over a month. And there's some things that pertain to the high school students and who need to meet graduation requirements. But it also has something to do with the summit of law enforcement severe interaction. There was a portion in that, in the proposal that addressed that. There was a portion of the proposal that addressed doing tours. They could come in the village hall and see exactly what's here. They could go to the fire station, etc. But those tours are also part of that. And I had asked for a community service liaison to spearhead all that, because they would need to sign off for Bloom Trail. Now, the mayor had informed us that he had asked for volunteers and he had not received it. And so that was kind of put on the back burner. But when he asked for approval of the proposal, there was no second. There was a motion, but there was no second, so it failed. And that's when I drew the conclusion there was a lack of interest by this board in doing that service for the community, for the youth in particular. As expected, the village clerk was there, and she stood up and used her 3 minutes to say that I should not have said there was a lack of interest because it was never seconded. Well, to me, that proves there's a lack of interest because it's not seconded. But anyway, that was her position, and I did not address it because I think when we're on someone else's property, i.e. the school district, then we deserve to respect it. Now here we do pretty much what we want to do, but there we should respect it. Now I was also present the last time the village clerk was there at the school board, and where she had a meltdown that included profanity, which I thought was inappropriate because there were children in the audience. But I did not address, I let her have her say, and she said that this board was not disinterested in the proposal. My point is this: if we develop a program that benefits the youth in Sauk Village, and this board decides it does not want to approve it, then that's fine. Then let's say that. Let's just drop it and forget about it. Let's not procrastinate, pretend like we're interested when we're not. Now, I asked the partnership team to omit the portion, the community service portion, to omit it from that proposal because it cannot get through this board. Now, the mayor, and I've stated this before, the mayor stated that he did not want to make the appointment of the liaison because it involved the school district and it involved the library. And that was totally not true. And if you read the proposal, it clearly states what that's about. And it does not give the liaison any control over anyone except Village Hall, municipality. That's all it does. But I asked the partnership team to omit the community service portion of that. As far as I'm concerned, we could forget that portion of it. Because I do not think we need to jump through hoops in order to get something to benefit the youth. I think this board should have been 100% behind giving community service so our students can graduate from Bloom Trail. I think they should have been 100% behind having a seminar that's in the proposal that prevents any injury to police officers or civilians. We don't want anyone hurt. But those things were not addressed, and that's fine. I'm good with removing those from there. If the partnership team decides they want to remove it, I am all for that. Because I don't think anything should be held up over a month that's vital to the community. And don't forget, our students at Trail are working toward their graduation requirements even though it's early, well, later in the year. But they're working toward that. And if we could benefit by assisting them, I saw no problem with that. So just to let you know, to this board, I did say you had a lack of interest. I did say that, and I want to make that perfectly clear. So all this garbage you're hearing that I said about you personally, I never addressed anyone personally. I said the board. I'm a member of this board. I did not second it. So I just want to get the record straight. And if any of you have any questions, I am free to answer them. I have no problem in answering them. I just want whatever is said that lets what I said to be true. I'll tell the truth anytime you want me to. But I do not like being lied on at all. That's all.
You stated that the IGRC, are they going to be revising the document then and omitting? Okay. So it may or may not come back in front of the board. Okay. Trustee Jones.
Every Wednesday, we have a new program in the community center. It's the Creative Writing Club, and that's every Wednesday, starting at 5:30 to 7. Uno night every Friday, 5 to 8. Trunk or treat. There's flyers, there'll be flyers on the back. That's going to be on the 29th. We also, in November, we will be having, there will be flyers passed around once I make some copies for the free community harvest dinner. That will be Sunday, November 20th, 2016 at 4 p.m. Food, fun, music, and raffles. Please come and join Robert, No Excuse Foundation, and the Parks and Recreation Committee for this free event. And this will be held in the community center. And we also got on the calendar that the committee is working on. We went through and separated and cleaned up, threw away some old lights that didn't work, got rid of some of the broken ornaments, and we kind of made an inventory of what we need and what we're going to do as far as the Christmas parade. And that Christmas parade will be December 3rd, starting at 11 a.m. Okay.
Trustee Washington.
I just want to say I really enjoyed the presentation tonight about the copying machines. I know that the employees have really been talking about them, and I don't know how soon we'll move forward with that, but that was a really good machine that they showed us tonight, proving the experience working with that Canada and Toshiba. They're really, really good. And I just want to remind the community that Neighborhood Watch will be having our regular meeting as scheduled the second Monday of November, which will be November the 14th at the fire department at 7:00 p.m. At this point, the month of October, November, and December, Neighborhood Watch is focusing on completing our grid to actually have a block club captain on every block and to identify who those block captains are. I did have one call in particular where someone was going around shaking doors, just shaking door handles on doors, and we called into the police and they came out and I mean they did a quick, thorough job. I saw them hopping fences in backyards with those big flashlights. I was telling the chief tonight they was on point. They really came out, and that particular block was glad to see the police officers out there. So I want to remind residents that if you see anything suspicious on your block or around your house, do not hesitate to call the police department. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Trustee Myers?
Thank you. Just a couple of things tonight. Chief wants me to thank everybody that came out for the fire department open house Saturday at the fire station. It went well. We had a lot of displays out. Some of the items was we showed what could cause fires in the house. We had a lot of our equipment out on display. We had a pretty good turnout. And the last thing I had, Saturday night, approximately 11:20, we had a resident, a 49-year-old resident that passed, that lived in this town, supported this town, and he would be laid to rest, Robert Contores, at Smith Funeral Home in Dyer, and 2 to 9 Friday night. Mass will be held at St. Michael's in Sherryville at 10:30 Saturday morning. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. I just have a couple of items. On the back table, you will see a report for the Sauk Village Waterworks, the quality report for 2015. That's on the back table. Also, the application for the $1 senior discount, that's on the back table. The pre-Thanksgiving dinner for the veterans, sponsored by Norbert Wilkening, Thrivent Financial, and Village Clerk Debbie Williams of the Southland Voice, and other grateful citizens. That's on the back table. The Horseshoe Casino bus trip, which was a fundraiser for the 60th anniversary, that application is on the back table, and that will be Friday, November 11th, leaving here at 12 p.m., coming back at 6:30. The application is on the back table. Also, what's happening in Sauk Village is on the back table. Items with like Parks and Recs events and news, Election Day, and things like that. All that stuff is on the back table. So anybody is interested in any of those items, please feel free to get those from the back table. And then I just had a couple of things. I didn't know, Mr. Fairman, if there's any way you can look at our microphone contract and see if there's a maintenance or something, because every week we have a problem with the microphones. 3 weeks ago, Kevin Muller came in here and bought all new batteries, and we've checked the chargers, and every meeting we go through and we have these microphones checked and they're ready to go, and then they're not. I'm starting to think it's not the battery, it's the actual machine. So also, I wanted to make a couple comments about some of the things that were stated by the residents. As far as the money breakdown for the committees, as Trustee Washington House stated, you raise money for your committee, and it's the committee's chair, their responsibility to make sure that that money is collected, accounted for, and if you do spend it, that you have receipts to do that. There's no policy per se about how money can be spent, because it's not, one of the residents stated that it was taxpayers' dollars. It's not taxpayer money. It's money that's been raised. So currently, there's no policy of how that can be spent. There's practice, past practice, and while it may not be a past practice that some people have been paid for gas, there's no policy that states that it doesn't. So what I'm suggesting, as all of you guys, I know I've said before, I usually type up a summary of the meeting when the mayor's not here. I'll be putting this in the summary. Maybe it's something this board would like to address. I'm assuming it's something we can make a policy for. I don't know why we couldn't, but maybe it's something that we need to address, because as Trustee Washington House stated, a lot of the committees don't have a budget. So we go out and we raise our money for our items, and then we have to turn in receipts. Now, everybody knows that when the trustees get their per diem, or if the department heads get per diem, they have an expense sheet. Gas is an expensable item, but that's for when they're going for a village-related thing, and that's for an employee or an elected official. It's not translated to volunteers. So I'm going to suggest it. I don't know if that's something the board wants to review or go over, but just to be clear. And then also, Ms. Cass talked about volunteers, and I think that That's something that we've talked about multiple times. Volunteers are important, and whether it's paying for gas, whether it's showing up, volunteers are something that is needed in every committee. And I know it's been a while since I've heard anybody say, hey, we're looking for new volunteers. But I think every committee is always looking for volunteers, and volunteers are the backbone of any committee. And it's important. Ms. Cass made a very good point, I think, when she talked about volunteers. Some people have been volunteering for years and years and years. And, you know, some people choose to volunteer for only certain people, and then you have other people who show up at every event. And you have other people who step right in, regardless of party lines or the division that we keep talking about. You know, it's difficult sometimes when you know that you go to certain events and you volunteer and you help out without being asked, and then you don't feel like you're getting that recognition. So for anybody who's in the audience right now is a volunteer, I would just like to say thank you for that. Another thing I'm going to ask that the mayor entertain for a procedure is for the mayor pro tem. Because I know Trustee Tate's asked about it about a year ago, I want to say. And at that time I stated there is no policy or procedure about it. It has been past practice that the senior most trustee runs the meeting. And at that time I suggested that was something that this board review. Because there is nothing that states that there is a rotating system. It's just always been the senior most trustee. Tonight, we had a situation where Trustee Jones made a motion, and unfortunately in a committee meeting, you don't make a motion for Mayor Pro Tem. However, at a board meeting, you do. So there needs to be something in place, because if I just take something like an example of like minutes, or I'm taking an example of a vote, oftentimes when we have a minutes come up, you have a vote of 3-3 and the mayor breaks the tie. If the mayor is not here to break a tie, that motion would fail. If there comes a time where a board meeting happens and there is a vote for any individual to be the mayor pro tem, and 3 people vote yes and 3 people vote no, that is not the majority of the quorum, then that motion would die. And if we could never, as a board, find it among ourselves to appoint one person to be the mayor pro tem because of I'm only going to vote yes for this person, or I'm only going to vote no for this person, then unfortunately we would not be able to have a board meeting that night. So I'm going to ask that the mayor look at this, contact our lawyers and see what we can do, because I can see this being an issue of 3 people voting one way, 3 people voting another way, and then we don't have a board meeting that night, which means we couldn't pass anything we would need to pass. So again, I would have no problem, I don't think anybody up here would have a problem addressing it to the mayor and seeing if we could come up with a policy or something, because like I said, currently there's not one. So that's all I had, and then with that, I would just need a motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Thank you very much.